Hello and welcome to Matchday Breakdowns. I'm your host Henry Tui, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the Stuttgart 2022 final between Andy Murray and Matteo Berrettini. They're two titans on grass. Lots to get into. Some happy. It was a good match, but some sad news as well. But let's just get straight into it. The result was game, set and match Berrettini. He defeats Murray 6-4, 5-7, 6-3. So it went the distance. Tightly contested match. Not a lot in it between them. My prediction heading into the match was actually Murray in 3, which I said in my last video. But it could have swung either way, I mentioned, and I thought it would be a close game. Both mostly taking care of their service games, not getting too deep into each other's. But there were definitely some key takeaways on how Berrettini found a way to clinch the title. And he was the champion in 2019, and he is now the champion in 2022. Very impressive from him all tournament. Even finding a way to win when he's not playing his best. So very impressive from him. Yeah, it was a great match. So let's get into it. Yeah, just to start off with, overall they were both mentally very tough, really fought for every point. Both dealt with pressure points well, and even when under immense amount of pressure, it wasn't really a very loose game. They were still playing quite well. But they only each had really 2 properly loose games, where Murray was broken in the first set, and then Berrettini in the second. Just 2 little blips that each other took advantage of. That was it really. The third set was the turning point, as we will get into. Yeah, just start off with Berrettini was incredibly clutch, as he always is. Mentally one of the strongest players on tour. Really impressive, as he always is. So good under pressure. He might even play better under pressure. Just incredible. So few errors, hardly gave anything away. Yeah, and Murray did capitalise really well in the second set to take it 7-5, because his serve was untouchable, really. Very difficult for Murray to get a foothold in any of Berrettini's service games. Yep, the whole match his weapons were firing. The forehand and serve, immaculate. Yeah, served away every break point and pressure moment easily. I mean, he could have been love 40 down and you would have backed him to hold it. He was just serving so well. But another positive from Berrettini is that he really didn't give Murray much rhythm, especially at the start. Just the variety was really impressive. He was drop shotting very successfully as well at the start before Murray really got his eye in. He was very aggressive with the net. His slice, which I will get into later, was very important. And his forehand power, that dynamic between, on the backhand side, low pace slices, not giving Murray any pace to work with, and then exploding when he got it into his forehand. Just complete polar opposites on both wings, but very effective the entire match. Yeah, very effective change-ups with the approaching the net, and he's obviously a big guy, big presence when he is at the net. Nice hands as well. He also did well to avoid the backhand-to-backhand drive exchanges. So he sliced a lot, which, and as I said, Murray struggled to generate the pace. Because what would happen is, and I'll put up a diagram to show you just to clarify it. If they get caught in the backhand-to-backhand exchange, Murray's consistency and pace and depth would make Berrettini's comparatively weaker backhand eventually break down, and eventually a short ball would land on Murray's side, which he could very happily attack and be very aggressive on, and punish Berrettini down the line. But Berrettini he probably anticipated that. A lot of people know, most people would know that his backhand isn't as good. So he really utilised the slice to control where he wanted Murray to go. Some very nice low slices, short in the court, which brought Murray forward. Unattackable slices, so Murray just has to kind of hit it up, and then he's open for the passing shots on both wings, so he controlled it nicely there. Also, the depth on the slices was lovely, really keeping him at the back when he wanted to as well. I think he even got a slice winner, so it was a very diverse shot that also helped with the not giving Murray rhythm, which was really, really very impressive. The crowd support was also 50-50. I thought I'd just make a note of that. They're both very mentally tough players, so it wouldn't affect them too much to not have the crowd on their side, but just something to take note of because everyone loves support. And now on to Murray. Murray did very well for a lot of the games, even when facing break points, to just take care of a serve and be very patient until the third set, but we will get onto that. And he was very patient, waiting for the Berrettini mistakes, and finally capitalised when the one time Berrettini didn't serve away or forehand winner away the pressure in the second set. So he really rose to the occasion, took it to Berrettini. It was just a great response in the first set, a quite disappointing first set, 'cause it was just that one game that he let slip. I mean, he would have loved to have had that game again. But he responded exceptionally, fired up the crowd, fired up himself, just looked far more dialed in the second set. You saw the self-belief in him. He knew he could win. And he always brought back his focus as well. I mean, Murray is a player who loves muttering to himself on court. He struggles with that sometimes. But he did very well to always go back to his poker face, calm it down, and focus on what he needed to do, rather than any other factors. Just went back to his game plan. And yeah, he did really well to fire up the crowd as well, which he doesn't do all the time. But he recognised that he needed them today, so he did well. But going on to the third set, so obviously Murray had just broken Berrettini in the second, had won that set, huge uproar, crowd on their feet. It was a great moment, brilliant fight. And then Murray is serving first in the third set, and that's when it all went downhill, and it really stopped being a contest, which was a shame. So Murray was broken to love and looked terrible, just not himself completely, and looked in a lot of pain, and immediately called the physio. So that was it looked very bad for him from there on in. And then he called the physio later, because he did go back to court, like mid game. It was too much for him, and he was just really suffering. And when the physio did treat him both times, it was about his leg. He was getting massages, I think maybe an ice pack, but it was just all about one of his legs. And had a feeling that it would happen, but such an important factor in serving is driving up with your legs to really meet the serve, really get the power on it. And if your legs hurt, you can't do that as effectively. And his serve suffered. His first serve was slower than his second serve the entire match, it seemed, just rolling them in, because he just could not generate any power. And the microphone picked it up really clearly as I watched the match. I can do everything else, but I can't serve. This is what happens when I can't take a break. And that's clearly in reference to this tournament. He doesn't have rest days in between matches, and in his older age and his physically deteriorated state with the metal hip and everything, clearly very, very tough for him. And he did manage to hold one game, something like that. Berrettini just hadn't quite twigged about the low pace serves, was hitting quite a few of them long. But eventually got his eye in and got the double break to win the match, 6-3 in the third. It was a very, very sad way for it to end. Because Murray really did fight for every point. He was right there with him for the first two sets. And it's just a shame that it had to end that way. You never want to end any match with injury, especially a final. So credit for him to carrying on even through the pain, because he could have retired. But he did very well. And I hope he recovers, especially in time for Wimbledon. Brilliant contest. And a great final to watch. But a very, very sad end. But, of course, full credit to Berrettini, who wins his first tournament of 2022 and is looking very, very good. He looked very sharp, especially the serve. Unbelievable today. And all the best for him and the rest of his season. And congrats to him and his team for the recovery and the condition he's in, which was remarkable. And as I said earlier, he's now the champion in 2022, as he was in 2019. So he really likes it here in Stuttgart, and very, very impressive. And in the post-match, props to him for saying, not the way we wanted to finish the match. You can see he's hurt, but it's an honour to play against him. So always a nice guy, Matteo. And he did very, very well. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. It really does mean a lot. And I'd love to hear your opinions on the comment section. What did you think of my analysis? What was your personal prediction for the match and your analysis and breakdown? Because there were a lot of takeaways. Murray has looked excellent this week. So is Berrettini. Great final. Both amazing grass court players. So a really good final. And hopefully it's nothing too serious for Murray. Hopefully it was just a bit of discomfort. That should soon go away. But you're always nervous for someone who's 35 when they start getting those niggles, because sometimes they just don't go away. But credit to him, he did very well, and credit to Berrettini. So yes, please let me know in the comment sections. I'd love to read them. And don't forget to like and subscribe. That would be incredible. I've been your host, Henry Tui, and that was the game, set, and match. And I will catch you later. So bye-bye. Thank you. See ya.